is why does the deficit not matter to you? We're talking about knocking 16 million people off their health care, but it matters not, it does matter to you if we're knocking people off health care, but not.
Well, first of all, that figure is overstated by 5.1 million. That is amount not attributable to provisions in this bill.
So you think it's okay just to knock 10 million people off their health care?
First of all, let's set that straight. Work requirements account for 8 million of CBO's claim number. Again, we're creating an economy that promotes and rewards.
It's clear, Secretary Bessent, that you don't want to answer the question.
No, Senator, I am answering it.
No, you're not.
And what I want is for Medicaid to be used for mothers and children as it was meant, not for 1.4 million illegal aliens, not for able-bodied people.
Folks, buckle up, because this one was a total demolition. Democrat Senator Elizabeth Warren stormed into today's hearing thinking she was going to embarrass Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent with her usual anti-Republican tax-the-rich routine. But what happened next? She got absolutely obliterated, live, on record, and with her own talking points turned against her. Warren came out breathing fire about millionaires and billionaires, but by the end, it was her own arguments going up in flames. Bessent stayed calm, cool, and surgical, exposing every hole in her so-called facts and leaving her scrambling for words. This wasn't a debate, it was a reality check for a senator who's gotten way too comfortable preaching bad math.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I want to ask about the Republican big, beautiful bill, which will knock about 16 million people off their health care coverage and cut programs that keep groceries cheaper for millions of families in order to try to pay for about $4 trillion in tax giveaways that are mostly going to be sucked up by millionaires, billionaires, and wealthy corporations. So, Mr. Bessent, Secretary Bessent, I'd like to start with a very simple question. Will this bill increase or decrease the deficit?
They're varying scoring on that, Senator Warren.
You're the Secretary of the Treasury, so I'm asking you. What is your view? Will this bill increase or decrease the deficit?
It is my view that over the 10-year window, it will decrease.
You know, do you have anybody who agrees with you on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask my question.
Okay.
Every credible independent expert agrees that Trump and the Republicans' big, beautiful bill would add trillions of dollars to the national debt and would not even come close to paying for itself. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, the Penn-Wharton budget model, and the Yale Budget Lab all agree on this, and they're looking at 10-year windows, thank you. So do the Conservative Tax Foundation and Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, conservative groups. Even Elon Musk and the Wall Street Journal are criticizing the bill for ballooning the national debt. The only people who are saying publicly that it's not going to add to the national debt are you, Donald Trump, the Republicans in Congress. Do you have an independent group that has put forward numbers that disagrees with all of these conservative groups and disagrees with the Wall Street Journal on this?
Well, Senator, interesting to see you aligned with Elon Musk, but if I add...
You're no more shocked than I am.
If we want to take the full congressional budget scoring, they predict, and I don't agree with their methodology, they predict a $2.4 trillion deficit. But
okay, so the answer to the question is yes.
No, but may I finish? They include... but they've also scored $2.8 trillion in tariff income. So even in Washington, D.C. math,
okay, so,
in Washington, D.C. math, that is a $400 billion surplus.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. This bill, you admit, will increase the deficit by $2.4 trillion, but you think there will be another bill and another set of agreements that somehow materialize, haven't materialized so far, don't have any statutory authority, but that will make up the difference. So the answer to the original question, will this bill increase or decrease the deficit? I think you just said it will increase. This bill increases the deficit.
No, I want to use all the CBO scoring, and you can't take one without the other. I don't agree with the CBO.
One is the law that we are scoring, the bill that is in front of us. We don't have a tariff bill in front of us to score. Mr. Secretary, let me go on to the second question. You have said that government spending is, quote, out of control. You have also called government spending, quote, unsustainable. In fact, in the name of fiscal responsibility, you're working with the Republicans on this big, beautiful bill to pass the biggest cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act in American history. So, Mr. Secretary, help me understand here. Why is the national debt so very important that you're trying to kick 16 million people off their health insurance, but increasing the national debt doesn't seem to matter if you're cutting taxes for billionaires and billionaire corporations?
Well, first of all, a huge portion of this goes to family-owned businesses that are pass-through entities that are below that level, Senator, and I am sure you share my goals of Main Street prosperity.
You know, I'm glad to do tax cuts for people of modest means. The question I'm asking is, why does the deficit not matter to you? We're talking about knocking 16 million people off their health care, but it matters not. It does matter to you if we're knocking people off health care, but not.
Well, first of all, that figure is overstated by 5.1 million. That is amount not attributable to provisions in this bill.
So you think it's okay just to knock 10 million people off their health care?
First of all, let's set that straight. Work requirements account for 8 million of CBO's claim number. Again, we're creating an economy that promotes and rewards.
It's clear, Secretary Bessent, that you don't want to answer the question.
No, Senator, I am answering it.
No, you're not.
And what I want is for Medicaid to be used for mothers and children as it was meant, not for 1.4 million illegal aliens, not for able-bodied people.
Medicaid is not used for people who are not documented. Mr. Chairman, I just want to say here, the part that troubles me the most is that the Secretary is deeply worried about the deficit and is willing to knock 16 million, or as he says, merely 11 million people off their health care. Matters so much, but it doesn't matter so much if you're cutting taxes for billionaires. Then it's okay to run up a big deficit.
Warren kicks it off with that trademark scowl, calling the GOP plan a big, beautiful bill that supposedly kicks 16 million people off health care and gives trillions to billionaires. But Bessent, not rattled, he just smiles and says, "Senator, over the next 10 years, this plan actually reduces the deficit." Warren immediately snaps back, demanding to know which credible experts agree. She starts name-dropping Yale, the CBO, and even Elon Musk. Bessent fires back without missing a beat. "Well, Senator, it's interesting to see you finally agreeing with Elon Musk and the Wall Street Journal." The room breaks into laughter. Warren's face, priceless. She didn't see that one coming. She keeps pushing. "So you admit it increases the deficit," and that's when Bessent drops the hammer. "Senator, if you use Washington math, maybe, but if you use real math, the kind Americans use to balance their checkbooks, we're looking at a $400 billion surplus." Boom. Warren tries to cut him off, but he just keeps going. Calm, confident, deadly precise. "You can't cherry-pick the numbers you like, Senator, and call it truth. That might work in a campaign speech, not in this chair. If you love seeing political arrogance get roasted with facts, click that subscribe button, because this was a masterclass." Warren tries to pivot, accusing the administration of taking healthcare away from 16 million Americans. Bessent shakes his head and says, "Senator, that number's inflated by 5 million. We're not removing care, we're reforming waste. Medicaid was meant for mothers and children, not for able-bodied adults who can work." Warren interrupts again. "That's not true." And Bessent calmly responds, "Then you agree Medicaid shouldn't be funding able-bodied people. I'm glad we found common ground." You could hear a few chuckles across the room. Warren looked ready to explode. As Warren ramps up the drama, Bessent drops one last jab with a smile. "Senator, you can't spend your way out of debt. That's like trying to fix a leaky roof with a fire hose." Even the chairman had to laugh. And then he finishes her off with this mic drop moment. "I'm here to solve problems, Senator, not audition for cable news clips." Warren just sits there speechless, glaring, flipping papers like she's searching for her dignity. And that, my friends, was the end of Senator Elizabeth Warren's worst hearing in months. Scott Bessent came prepared, calm, and completely in control, dismantling her talking points one by one and exposing the hypocrisy behind her deficit preaching. Warren tried to land punches, but ended up swinging at facts, and facts hit back. If you enjoyed watching Bessent's flawless takedown of Washington grandstanding, smash that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up and drop your thoughts in the comments. Was this the end of Warren's credibility on the deficit debate? Let me know below, and stay tuned for more fiery truth from Capitol Hill.